there a spiritual way to kill an animal? I'll put it this way. How would Jesus kill an animal? Everyone in the Western world's entire life is affected by the church.
We're talking about some of the most powerful, profitable industries on the planet.
It's a conspiracy of silence. Nobody talks about it. Nobody shows it.
It's a mafia.
Is there any danger of making a film like this?
You just wait and see. They will stop at nothing to keep this truth from getting out.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for Christspiracy, in limited release right now. If you head over to Christspiracy.com, you can find out where it is playing near you. I'm Creepy. This is Nerds Rule the World, and joining me to talk all things Christspiracy is my pal, Heather. How are you, Heather?
I'm good.
All right. Well,
little shot, but
I hear you. Well, we watch a lot of documentaries, y'all. We watch a lot of films, and we've actually recorded quite a bit for y'all today. So make sure you head over to the NRW and check out all the things that we're talking about, interviews, reviews. We give it to y'all. We do the hard work for y'all. Christspiracy is a recent documentary we had the pleasure of checking out. And also had the opportunity to talk to the director of Christspiracy, Mr. Kip Andersen. He's done quite a bit of some projects you might have already seen that's streaming on Netflix. Seaspiracy, Cowspiracy, and What the Health. And with this one, he didn't just bring it to Netflix. He wanted to bring it to the people, to theaters. So it's out there right now again, y'all, in limited release. I'm sure eventually he'll get like the next big deal. He knows the people at Netflix. You'll find it streaming very soon. But go check it out. It's again continuing on some of the themes you've probably seen from some of the AUM films, which is his company, of protecting animals and not about there's a lot of us that are vegetarians or vegans. I'm trying to get my words right, Heather. Please correct me if I get lost, but I think their whole thing is about just finding other alternatives in regards to eating and not eating animals. I'm getting lost, Heather.
No, you're good. Okay, I'll take over.
Yeah.
So Anderson is known for creating and defining brand culture, defining brand culture so that we're more aware of what we're buying, what we're ordering, and how it is impacting us. His other films were kind of a cyclical point of not cyclical. They were the triangle point of how we eat, what we eat, and what the brands are that own everything that we consume. And it's more than just basic like actual food consumption. It's product consumption, it's branding. He's really tried to open up and bring a better light onto product in general, and how everything kind of just goes up to these major organizations, all of whom seem to own everything. And he always felt that something was missing. And then he had Michael Beckwith, this one, right?
Kameron Waters.
I'm sorry, Kameron
Yeah.
Waters. Michael Beckwith it's been a minute. I'm sorry. It's been a while. Kameron Waters, Anderson's always been very forward and he likes to talk to people. He goes on tours and talks about these things frequently. And Waters came forward and asked him a question about Jesus and what he was eating, because that's something that's always bothered him. He had a perception of food, and this goes up to the fact that a lot of diets are based off of the presumptions of religion, the assumptions of what is good or bad for your body, and in reality, food is just food. Eat food as long as you eat it in, eat it in. Don't over consume. But he was just like, what would Jesus eat? And that brought Anderson up to the point where he realized that religion has a major hand in a lot of things, including the consumption of food and branding. And just to say, follow the money, guys. You'd be surprised how much the Mormons control everything, by the way. And I'm saying that in a completely non-biased way. Literally, these are the type of documentaries that you need to look at. Follow the money, realize where things are going. That's what Anderson is trying to expose with his documentaries. And what you have this concept of, is Jesus a vegetarian, or is Jesus? He is still with us every single day. It was just Easter. I could make a joke. But it's one of those where I just don't understand. Y'all literally pray to a zombie. I'm just going to say it. was the actual human who is in censuses, who is in the census, in Roman census. There is a documented person who was considered Jesus of Nazareth, and would he have been a vegetarian? Would him as a Jew been following all these kosher procedures? Would he have been not eating meat? Would he have not been consuming dairy products? And that was a really interesting element to Andersen, and that's where Christspiracy came into play.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. You saved me. I've been saved. Sorry, jokes, y'all.
I ain't saving nobody, no way, no how, nuh-uh.
So yeah, very interesting concept. You see that from the trailer. Kameron Waters, speaks up at this conversation that Kip was having, and you go along this journey, following, this path and these questions that are probing, and gets a lot of people to talk, and it's always very interesting. I love it's the thing we like about documentaries. It's opening, certain things that people try to keep behind closed doors, and it gets you thinking. Let's also say, though, while they may try to say they're giving the truth, they're also having their own truth that they're trying to push forward as well. So just think on all sides, and I'm sure Kip would agree to that. But they had their own agenda of what they wanted to say, and they brought up what they have as their facts to back up their agenda, but always question everything. And when you see my interview that's available right now with Kip, I even said it's all about questioning anything and everything that is presented to you. And it brings up rather interesting questions. As I was telling Heather, before we got rolling, I personally, from what they reveal at the very end of this, I always thought what my perception of Jesus Christ would eat and not eat. And she has her own perception as well. And, everybody, again, you formulate your own decisions and you have your own thoughts on things. But yeah, I enjoyed the documentary for what it was. I also know that it's also playing to, again, the agenda that Kip has and his team has. But as long as it gets you thinking, and also just thinking about how we treat animals and all of that, I think there's a lot of good in this documentary, and that we should just kind of, you take from it as you will. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, those are my final thoughts on it. How about you, Heather?
It was definitely a thought-provoking one, one that I actually kind of disagree with. And once again, that's the kind of conversations we want to have. We want to have conversations where we should never just believe what's right in front of us. We should do our research. We should do our review. And as an example, and this was my take. A slave will eat what a slave can, because that is what they are allotted. That's what they are permitted, and that's what they can find. That's what he would have been at the time. So when it comes down to it, however, when I'm going to go with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do research to try and prove myself correct. And that's kind of what these guys did. And I really think that this truly exposed something to me. When you find yourself in a spiral of your own information, you are going to find the facts that prove you're correct. And we need to remember that, because we need to branch out from that. It's important. We can think of it as the political spectrum. Kuyupi and I obviously have very, very forward opinions about certain things. We are very forward with our opinions about things. But if we don't have the opposing viewpoint, if we don't get that information, our information is completely invalid. It doesn't matter what we say, because we are just sitting in an echo chamber. And that's kind of how I felt that this documentary went. They were sitting in an echo chamber of what they believed, and they wanted to prove themselves right. But that's a great conversation starter. I'd love to have a conversation with Andersen and be like, do you think you got stuck in your own purview where you found the answer that you wanted? And I think that's really important. That's what documentaries like this are meant to make you think. They're supposed to come forward. Was this documentary for me? Not so much, but I did think it brought up some great conversation.
Completely agree. Yeah, I think expose the truth, knock on doors that the people don't want it. And yeah, I found it very interesting. And I echo everything you said, Heather. Let's go, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's start these conversations, man. Very curious on your all thoughts. But again, I'm all about breaking down doors, revealing the truth. And I love this journey. I thought it was very interesting, the journey that they went on. And again, like Heather said, though, when you have a certain truth that you know that you want to do, represent, it's going to be curtailed to that fashion. And so, yeah, I'm not dumb to think that is what Kip intended. As a matter of fact, I know that's probably in certain respects. But let's start these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it going. I love stuff like that. That's how we get better, y'all, and how we can do better for each other. So there you go. That's our feelings on Christspiracy. Your boy QP, Heather Hurt. Let's get into it. Comments below. Let's keep it civil, y'all, but let's learn together. All right, y'all. We're out. NRW. Nerds Rule the World. Cut.